I arrived a few minutes early, slipping through the restaurant door, while the chatter of the graduation party swirled around the main hall. The long table was already set, gleaming under the soft overhead lights. My brother sat at the center, flanked by parents and siblings, and there was a subtle but unmistakable gap where I was expected to be invisible. Mom's eyes flicked toward me, sharp and calculating. "You don't belong at the main table," she said, as if rehearsing it from memory. She gestured imperiously toward the side, where a smaller table waited for anyone not quite worthy of the main celebration. I nodded once, politely, almost ceremonially, and made my way to the edge of the room. Inwardly, I counted my breaths, felt the old sting of exclusion, and tried not to let the years of dismissal weigh down my shoulders. I remembered dinners when laughter flowed for everyone else, and my words, when offered, went ignored or twisted. Mom lifted the wine list with a practiced flourish. She selected the most expensive bottle on the menu, her finger tracing the paper, as if marking the height of her authority. My brother looked pleased, basking in her attention, while the rest of the table mirrored her approval. The server's notepad clicked beneath her pen, tallying a cost meant to impress, to show control. I remained quiet, choosing observation over confrontation. I let the room fill with the clinking of glasses and the soft murmur of congratulations. I noticed the staff's movements, the rhythm of service, the small levers of agency tucked into the corners of this environment. It was all a performance, and I decided to play a different role, one that did not demand acknowledgement, but subtly claimed dignity. When the meal ended and the check arrived, I lifted my hand. The server paused, glancing at the main table for confirmation. I smiled faintly. "Then the person who doesn't belong isn't paying," I said calmly. My voice carried no heat, no need for vindication. It was a simple statement of fact, executed with timing that left no room for argument. Mom's hand trembled slightly as she saw the bill placed before her. The color drained from her face. She opened her mouth, as if a retort had been preloaded, but no words came. My brother shifted uncomfortably, a half-smile fading into realization. Authority, once assumed by birthright, had slipped, just enough for me to see the change without turning it into spectacle. I watched them, seated at their grand table, forced to acknowledge a subtle but undeniable reversal. Not humiliation, not drama, just consequence. My dignity, maintained quietly, became the fulcrum on which the social balance shifted. I collected my coat and left the restaurant without fanfare, letting silence carry me past the main table. Outside, the night air was sharp, clean, and unburdened. I felt a strange calm, a mild satisfaction rooted not in triumph over them, but in the reclamation of myself. They would adjust, perhaps, to the memory of a boundary enforced without anger. And I would carry with me the understanding that respect, once absent, could be quietly restored. No cheers, no vindictive gestures, just a personal, unshakable sense of presence and self-respect. The relationship remained complicated. There were no apologies, no reconciliations, just a subtle shift in the weight of authority. But I walked away lighter, moving through the night with a dignity I had quietly claimed, a victory measured in composure rather than spectacle.